We girls can do anything. Oh, not that? This is...
She-Ra, Princess of Power.
What? Oh, that's right. This is what we're doing.
Golden Girl and the Guardians of the Gemstones.
I bet you've missed that. Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you are new here, I don't know how you found me, but welcome. My name is Janessa. I am North Dakota's trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And today we are going to geek out about vintage toys. We are doing an update on my Golden Girl collection. So I have several Golden Girl videos here on my channel. I will make sure that I include the retro rewind playlist, and I'll probably link some throughout the video. I have a bunch of videos that are already here, but we've been updating the collection. So some of the things that we just showed pictures before, we now have in the collection. We have some other goodies we're going to take a look at. And if there's some additional pictures of things that I have found of like merch items and stuff, I will include those at the end. So we are going to get talking about my Golden Girl collection video. If you're excited for that, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. All right, yes, it is time for us to talk about Golden Girl and do a little collection update. Now, I know. If you are one of the Golden Girl stans, if you are in the Golden Girl Facebook group, I know I promised you a lore video ages ago. I had said that the lore video was going to be done by the end of last year. I had such good intentions, and with them, I have paved the road to hell. I don't know what I thought I was getting into. It is so much reading. And then I was like, how are you organizing this, bitch? Like, you're never going to remember all of this. So now I have like a spreadsheet. And I am working through this spreadsheet. So I am working on the lore. I promise you it's going to be good. I'm planning to make that video really big. I'm actually thinking about doing some related Get Ratchet With Me's where I do looks inspired by the characters. And I may even do parts of the video in different looks to go along with the characters. And so I'm building my spreadsheet. Just trust and believe, at least I think it will be worth the wait. So I'm sorry that it has taken much longer than I said it was going to, but I really want to give you something special. Again, these Golden Girl videos are such a labor of love for me, and I really am creating the videos that I wished I could have found on my own. That's how I got into this whole thing. That's why I started doing vintage toy videos. So I hope that you will think that it's worth the wait. The lore video is coming, but for today, we are going to be updating my collection. So the first thing that I'm adding to the collection are some additional figures. Now, if you saw part 1 of my Golden Girl videos, we went through all of the figures. And that video will be linked right here for your convenience. But I bet you've watched it before, right? I bet you have. I picked up a few duplicate figures just because I'm always looking for deals. And if I see something that looks like a good deal, because again, I've said this many times, I'm not like the kind of serious collector where I only want mint in the box. If a box is dinged up, if a box is open but all the pieces are there, I don't mind. Sometimes I buy loose figures. I prefer still in the box. Even if they've been removed and put back in and everything's there, I prefer to have the box. So I have picked up 3 additional figures. The first one is a Golden Girl. Now, my Golden Girl that I had before, she had some blue discoloration on her legs. I mean, this is 40-something-year-old plastic, so I understand. But I was able to find one where the plastic cover, the front screen, wasn't super yellowed, and she didn't have the same kind of blue discoloration, and she was a pretty good deal. So I went ahead and picked up this Golden Girl. I also picked up a Vultura figure. Now, I like having duplicates. This one is in kind of rough shape. The box is open on both sides, but I have checked, and all of the accessories are still inside. And I like having extra figures and things because at some point, if I do put together a display, of the Palace of Gems, I'm going to need some people to be in the castle. I'm going to need some of our heroes to be there negotiating and planning and all that kind of stuff. And we may need some of the villains to be lurking around. And Vultura is one of my favorite figures, one of my favorite characters in the line. And so when I saw this, I was like, you know what? If I do need a loose one at some point, this one has all the pieces. And so since the box is already open, that would be easy to take her out and add her into that display. Then we have an Ogre figure. Now, the male figures in the line are often very expensive. When I've been looking, Prince Chroma is usually the most expensive, and Ogre comes in fairly close behind. I found this Ogre still in the box. It is open on one side, but I've checked all the accessories are there, and this was less than $50. So when I saw this for less than $50, I was like, we can have a duplicate Ogre in our collection. Angie and I, over the years, have kind of talked about maybe at some point taking some of the loose dolls, or, you know, if I've got duplicates of things, and trying to do some custom dolls, and trying to like recreate that second wave that we never got. So there was a male figure in there with very dark coloring, Centaura. We would have to figure out how to make the horse butt. That's a whole other issue that we would have to figure out at the time. But I think that this figure could work really well to create a custom if we decided to do a Centaura. So I thought, you know what, for less than $50, let's get a duplicate Ogre, and then we've got it in case we want to do that project. Now, I did pick up one loose figure just in case, because if you've watched my previous videos, you know that this line was somewhat inconsistent. There were a lot of the fashions that, you know, we saw the prototype pictures. A lot of the packaging actually had the prototype picture, and then they used vastly different materials to actually create them. There's one of the evening gowns, I think it's Sapphire's evening gown, where there are different variations on it, where sometimes it's got this one kind of fabric for the shawl, sometimes it's a different fabric. Sometimes the dolls were packaged with the wrong shield, they were packaged with the wrong cape. And so when I saw this wild one, I was like, I have to buy this just in case, because this doll looks very different from the typical wild one. So I'll put a picture of the regular bog standard wild one. But if you look at this one, and we're going to do some close-ups, but this swimsuit, her little outfit, her little leotard, is normally a bright, icy blue. And in this, it's very definitely green. Now, I thought that could just be discoloration. It could be age. The reason why I wasn't sure is because if you look at her neck, it also looks really, really gray. And this looked solid enough that it didn't necessarily look like it was just fading or a discoloration. It almost looks like it's painted that color. So I was like, is this some variation that I have never discovered? Because the main variations I've heard of are, you know, there are the packaging mistakes, but then with Golden Girls, sometimes they would use her usual white and gold cape, but sometimes she was packaged with Sapphire's cape that had the blue with the gold, and sometimes she was packaged with Onyx's cape, which had pink with the gold. And I've heard those referred to as like the blue variant and the pink variant. So I was like, is there a rare variant of Wild One that has a green outfit and then has a different paint job on her bust area? Now that I have it in, I don't really think so. The reason why, now this is very solid. This discoloration, there's no part of this that isn't this sort of green color. So that, I mean, again, it could be a painting issue. The reason why I think not is because of the gray. And again, we will include some close-up. But as you go around the neck, it actually starts to fade away. So I think that this was maybe in the sun or it was displayed somewhere, and something about the way the light was hitting it changed the color on her bust area, and then it sort of fades as you go across. Now, you might be thinking, wouldn't that happen to the arms? No, because the body and the arms are actually different types of plastic. So the body is actually a hard, like very hard plastic. These are a hard plastic, but it has a little bit more give to it. These are the pieces that tend to get the discoloration because they are that softer plastic. And some of the things that they add in, that's why you get the discoloration. And that's why you usually see the discoloration on the faces, on the legs, on the arms, but not on the body because they're different plastics. So I think that something about this plastic, all of the discoloration that we're seeing is just on this one hard plastic piece. There's no discolorations anywhere else on the body. I'm going to keep looking and I'm going to see if I can find any other examples. If I do before this video goes live, I will include any additional pictures that I find, and I'll include any links that talk about it in the description box below if I do find anything. But I think this is discoloration. But you know what? This was like $11. It was worth it to me to possibly find a discoloration. I have thought about, now that I have a pretty complete Golden Girl collection, at least in terms of the figures and the outfits and the playset and all that kind of stuff, I've thought about starting to try to collect some of the errors, like dolls that are packaged with the wrong shield or the wrong cape. I thought that could be fun. If I do start doing those, and if I get enough for a video, maybe we'll do a video where I show some of the mistakes. I have shown pictures of them. Now, sometimes they're a little bit expensive because people are like, one of a kind, this was an accident. And it's like, first of all, it's not one of a kind. You should look around because actually they fucked this shit up a lot. I don't know why. I don't know who was packing things at Galoob, but these are actually fairly common mistakes. But they also then are like, this makes it more valuable. And I'm like, well, I mean, they seem to be selling it, so maybe there is a collector market for the people who want to collect the mistakes. For me, it's more of a novelty and to be able to record it in the videos. So, like, I'm not willing to spend as much as I would spend on some of the rarer figures just for something that's got the wrong shield or the wrong cape. So, and you never really know if somebody has like opened it and like put it back in, or you don't know if there's any of that kind of monkeying around, but it does seem to be common enough that those errors seem to be caused from the factory. And so it might be interesting to show those in a video. Stay tuned. If I decide to collect those, you'll see them in a video. Now, the one thing that you may have noticed is missing from my collection. I have the figures, I have the outfits, I have the Palace of Gems. I don't have the horses, and I'm very conflicted. That was such a common thing in the 80s. Barbie always had horses, She-Ra had horses, and Golden Girl and Dragon Queen both had horses. I don't know what it is. I don't have an interest really in collecting the horses. Like, the completionist in me every once in a while is like, if I found a good deal on... Again, I'm usually looking for things in the box, so those don't come up as often, and they're often very expensive. And so I was like, I don't know. And I don't even like the horses as much as I do like the chariots. And the chariot race, when we get to the lore video, is such an important part of what lore was created for Golden Girl, that I do actually like the idea of having the chariots, even if I didn't have the horses with them. But I would love to find the horse and chariot packaged together. But for now, I do have one of the horses. I have Shadow. This is Dragon Queen's horse. Now, it doesn't have any of the other accessories. This was a secondhand find that I actually got from Angie. So Angie's brother has kind of a side hustle where he sells a lot of stuff on eBay. He's always like sourcing things. He goes to estate sales and rummage sales and ugly box stores and all kinds of things. And he will like upsell them onto eBay. And he found this horse. Now this horse has a very lovely mane and tail. It did not come like that. It was a little bit raggedy, but Angie... Everybody needs an Angie in their life because there are things that Angie loves to do that I find so distasteful. And one of them is combing out doll hair. If I buy a used doll and it's got ratty hair, I know that I can just be like, Angie, would you want to comb this out? And she'll be like, yes. She loves it. So she combed out the mane and the tail and made it beautiful. And it does actually work. So let me go ahead and switch this on. And I have to kind of hold the battery compartment. But you can see, now Golden Girl gets a unicorn. Dragon Queen just has a jeweled horse, this little nubbin on the front. And the eyes glow. And so we will maybe do a close-up of this as well, just so we can show that off. But now I have one of the horses. I don't know, in the 80s, there was something about the horse girls that was a little bit off. And I just was like, that's maybe a bridge too far. So I don't know how I feel about the horses. But now I have one, and maybe this whets my appetite a little bit. Maybe I need to start adding that into my search rotation, because again, I do like the chariots, so if I could find them packaged with the chariots. But if I just found the horses, because they were packaged two ways. You could get the horse by itself, or you could get the horse and the chariot. I probably, even I mean, I never say never. If it's a good enough deal, I'll buy anything because I'm a monster. But, like, I wouldn't spend a lot on the horse by itself, even if it was in the box. It would have to be a pretty good deal. But the horse and the chariot, I may be a little bit more likely to do it because this is kind of cute and I do like the light up. Okay, fine. She's a horse girl now! All right, so in the merch video where we talked about some of the other materials that weren't necessarily part of the play line, but that were licensed things, we talked about the puffy vinyl stickers that were part of the stick and play line. Those are the ones that I found some pictures, but they're hard to track down, and I still have not been able to track down pictures of the sticker book. Ugh, I've seen one picture of this different sticker book, but it's not stick and play. I forget what that one's called. I'll put it on the screen. But it's something where it folds out and has like 6 different backgrounds.
Talk to me, it's what I want the most in my life. They say you're out of my league, but I don't give a damn. No, deep down, I know you want it. You wanna take a leap and jump in. You wanna fall in love. You get me spinning, wouldn't it be awesome if you just kiss me slowly and had me in your arms? If I could make you see it, baby, with this something to make the starlight jealous up above. Oh, you make me up, hey, lights go out when I see you moving up, hey, light me up. I love when you groove like that. Oh, hey, could be us kissing in the moonlight. Hey, I'm just saying, if I was your girlfriend.
These are not that, because these have a bunch of stickers, and on the back, it tells you what page number they go on. And it goes in a number of pages. Now, I showed this last time, and I do have style number 3, like and such as. I know that there are at least 4 styles. I'm pretty sure, I know I've seen pictures of 1 and 2, and I think I've seen pictures of a style 4. There may be more beyond that, I don't really know, but here we have style 3. Now, I did find a pretty good deal. They are open, but they are complete, and they were put into a different package. Another set of style 3. So, I still only have one of the styles, but now since I have 2 of them, I don't care if they're in the original packaging. They're here and they just don't have the plastic wrap around them, so I would maybe keep these. And I might be reaching out to some of the Golden Girl community. If there's somebody who's got a duplicate of one of the other styles, but you don't have style 3, hit me up. Hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Instagram, because maybe we could do a little trade. You could get style 3, and I could get 1, 2, or 4, or if there's even more than that. So let me know. I would love to know more about this sticker book. If you have any pictures of the Stick and Play sticker book, please, please message me. Get in touch with me. I would love to include pictures. I'm going to probably put a call out before I edit this video, so if I do find any pictures before then, I'll make sure to include them. But if you see this video and you have pictures, or if you have that sticker book and want to take pictures, please let me know. I would love to see it. I am so curious. Now, in the previous merch video, we also talked about the puzzles. I have seen 2 different versions of puzzles. I think in that last video, I didn't go back to check, but I think I showed off I had one of the types of puzzle. Now I found an open version of the second style of puzzle, like and such as. But I also found a sealed version of each of the puzzles. So now that I have 2 versions, I'm going to keep these sealed, and the 2 that are open, I don't know when it'll be done. I'm sure I'll work it into a video at some point, but I think Angie and I will put together these puzzles and take pictures of them, and I might even seal them so that I can like hang them up somewhere, because I do like them. Now that I have backups, and I have backups that are sealed that I know have all the pieces. These other ones, when I bought them, the listing claimed that they had all the pieces, and I haven't like double checked or counted all the pieces, but we'll go ahead and put those together. We'll show them in some sort of future video, but now I do have backups, so I feel better about playing around with the ones that are open. In the merch video, we talked about the fact that there are 2 different versions of the Golden Girl costume that I found pictures circulating around. There was a European version, looked like it was more cloth, and it didn't have a mask. It had like a crown piece, and it had a cape, and some other accessories to it. And then there was the more traditional for the 80s Ben Cooper costume that came with one of those blow mold plastic masks with the elastic strap that would break and would hurt you and was terrible, and came with like a smock. I did find 2 of those. Both of the boxes are in kind of questionable condition, but I do have one that is medium and one that is large. These are child sizes. They both came with the mask and with the plastic costume. Now, one thing that I think is interesting with this, because a lot of times, if you're a child of the 80s, if you remember these boxed costumes, there was one of these masks, and there was some sort of plastic smock that was just printed to look like whatever the character is. Now, these have a plastic costume piece, but let's take a look at it. So here you can see we've got the Golden Girl. It's printed to look like her outfit, but rather than just being a smock, this actually has legs. How creepy is this? Me peering through Golden Girl's crotch. But it's got 2 separate legs.
I can't even see. I can barely see. Yeah.
But it's got 2 separate leg pieces. So the sizing was much more important on this costume. I don't know if there were a lot that were like this. I don't remember them doing that. I don't remember any of the like boys costumes doing that. But this one, I suppose because it's maybe a little bit more of a revealing outfit, they wanted it to be a little bit more skin tight, which is weird, but I mean, people do weird things with children's costumes. Release the files! But here's our printed Golden Girl costume, and the back is just a creepy, solid flesh tone. So you just were butt naked from the back is how it looked. But I thought that was interesting that this was actually a slightly different style where it had actual legs rather than just being a smock. Now, in one of the previous videos, I also showed off 3 different cases that I had. There was one that was kind of a single layer carrying case, there was a double layer carrying case, and then there was a small mini suitcase, like a sleepover suitcase that I thought were really, really cute. Then somebody sent me a picture of a small, like, single doll-sized version of the carrying cases. I was able to track that down, and I was also able to track down another different style of case. So this was the little small single doll size. So this fit one of your characters, maybe an outfit. It's got the little handle, and it's got a little seal here. And you can see it's just really petite. So if you just had like 1 or 2, you couldn't put a lot in here. If they snuggled up, you could get maybe 2 or 3 dolls. But you could put them in here and you could put all their accessories. And we were always losing the accessories as kids. So I love that this one has a little like feed through latch that actually latches down to keep all of your items in place. So I thought this was really cute. I'm glad that I found a deal on this. I think Toy Hunters Hollow is the one who sent me the eBay listing where I picked this up. So thank you very much to Toy Hunters Hollow on Instagram. Make sure you follow them. But they sent me this so that I could find this Golden Girl small case. I also found a listing for this little case, or not so much a case as a purse. And here you can see we've got a little purse. It's got the little plastic strap, which is really cute. It's got another one of these latches. It's got very similar art to the other cases that we've seen. We've got Golden Girl with her sword. We've got her with the chariot on the back. And this has another one of these, like, it threads through a hole. So it keeps your items very safe. It's very secure. And it's just a little purse. So I thought that was cute because not only do we have cases that are good for carrying the dolls and their accessories, but we also have a little suitcase and you could have a little purse. So they really were thinking like all of the different licensed things that you could do that would have Golden Girl that you could add to your collection. And of course, I did track down the tape. Now you might already know this because I did a video where Angie and I actually played this on a cassette player. I did go ahead and slice this open so that I could take the tape out, and we played these and recorded them and we put them up on my channel. I'll put the video right here so you can listen if you haven't had a chance to do that yet. But these were really well-produced stories. I thought that maybe this was like a book and tape, but this is just a tape. It's just a tape with 2 stories. There's a different story on each side, and we went ahead and put those up on my channel so that you can listen. If you can't track down this tape is more than 40 years old. You know, this line hasn't existed for almost 40 years, and so I'm sure nobody's like tracking down the copyright or whatever. So we put it up for fans so that you could hear this. Because that's the thing, is sometimes when you see the pictures of things, you know they exist, but if it's things like a tape or a VHS tape or whatever, sometimes you want to know what's on there, and you don't want to have to buy it to do it. And so I was very happy to do that. And so I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't listened yet, definitely do. The stories that are in there, I'm using as part of that lore video. So that's one of the things that I'm having to do to collect all that lore. So I'm very excited to have this in my collection, and I'm glad that I was able to share that with other Golden Girl fans. And then another thing that I showed a picture of that I was able to track down were the photo frames. And I remember these with a lot of different characters. This was a popular item in the 80s. And these are just plastic photo frames in different shapes, and they come with pictures of the characters. So if you wanted just little pictures of the characters, if you were like me and didn't have a lot of friends that you wanted to cut out their pictures, you could just have the characters and they could be your friends. Or you could take this out and you could cut photos to match this. And then you could just have little cute photo frames that held pictures of your friends or your family. And so now I have one of the sets. I don't know how random this was because I have seen different ones. I think the pictures are all the same, but I don't know if, and I think the shapes are all the same, but there were different varieties of colors. So I don't think there's much different than this. I've seen a couple different versions, but they've all been basically like this arrangement of shapes and then different colors for different shapes. So this was very fun to find. I'm glad I added this. I don't know if I'll add a bunch more variations if I see them. If they're a good deal, maybe I will, but I'm glad to have one of the sets anyway. Now, the last thing for my collection update, I was very excited the first time that I saw one of these. I was like, ooh, that's something I need to add to my collection. It was something called a sneak preview. Now, I don't remember ever seeing these before. I may have seen them as a kid and just not been drawn to them in the toy store, but I don't remember them. I had a Viewmaster, so I had one of those where it was a little white card. It was a circular card with little notches, and it had little individual film cells. And you would put it into this. It looked like a little pair of binoculars. There were 2 little things to look into. You would put one in, and then you would click this little thing on the side, and it would go from slide to slide to slide, and it would tell you a story. I had a Wonder Woman one. I had a few other. I had a lot of the Viewmasters. I like those. I had never seen sneak previews. So again, Toy Hunters Hollow, he was showing me a picture of something else, but it was like a group picture of something in his collection. And I saw that and I was like, ooh, I wonder what that is. And so I started looking for it. Now I did track down the Golden Girl sneak previews. I would still like to find one where it's the player and the Golden Girl disc together that says Golden Girl on it. I would love to find that because I think that's what he had in his collection. But I have managed to track down a working player and the Golden Girl reel, but it took a lot. Now, I've talked before about sometimes when you're collecting stuff, buying things in lots is often easier than just buying single items. Sometimes you can get a better deal, but then sometimes you end up with duplicates or you end up with things you don't want. Let me tell you the journey I have been on with sneak previews. So first, to get a player, and this, I probably should have left some feedback or I should have filed something, but I didn't pay a lot for it because I did get a player, this little yellow one, and this is not, it doesn't work. I put a battery into it, it doesn't work, and it also doesn't have the battery cover. That was the part that I don't think was in the listing, so I probably should have, like, filed something, but I was like, I didn't pay a lot for it. And it came with a little Charlie Chaplin reel. So I do have a Charlie Chaplin reel. I haven't watched it yet. At some point I'll probably watch some of these. At least the open ones for sure I'll watch, but I haven't watched it yet. I was too busy getting the Golden Girl one ready. So I had this. The player didn't work, so I was still looking. I was still searching around. So next I found a lot that had a bunch of different reel cartridges. 4 of them. So there was a Golden Girl, and there was also a Voltron, and there was a Batman and a Superman. So I ordered those. And then I got my yellow player and it didn't work. So I was back to looking and searching. The next thing that I found was another Golden Girl. So I actually cut this one open kind of like I did with the tape because I was like, oh, if I can get one that I can cut open, then I can have one in the package and I can have one that's open that I use with the player. So I did find another Golden Girl, and I had 2 Golden Girls, and I was able to take one out, but I still didn't have a working player. Well, it finally all came together when I found a listing that had the player in the box with a Captain America reel and a loose Batman reel. So I was able to get these. Now I had a working player, and I had a Golden Girl that I could take out of the package. Ta-da! So this, I do have this, and I have tested it. I have watched it. Angie and I are going to try to take a video. We're going to try to take a cell phone video to show you what it is. The footage is basically some of the cartoon footage, some of the animated footage that they created that was used in one of the teaser commercials. It was maybe like a pilot if they were thinking about doing a cartoon. They didn't do a cartoon. As far as I know, there wasn't plans for a cartoon. I know they did do some animation work and put some things together. I don't know if that was just for marketing or as a teaser to get licensees to pick up the license. And so I don't really know the nature of that. I'm still doing some digging on that. But they used some of that footage, and it was extended from anything that I've seen before. So it was, some of it was stuff that I had seen, but it was an extended version of a fight between Dragon Queen and her minions and Golden Girl and her heroes. So because there was a mismatch, Prince Chroma does not appear in this reel. There was one extra hero compared to the number of villains. So Ogra does appear in here. He actually faces off with Onyx, and then each of the other heroes, you know, Golden Girl, Dragon Queen, everybody else has somebody that they fight with. It's a quick little fight scene. It's very cool. If we can get the video to record, it will appear now. All right, so those are all of the things that have been added to my Golden Girl collection. I'm always looking and trying to find pictures of things. Even between when I film this and when I go to edit it, I'm still going to be looking, I'm still going to be researching. So if I find anything else, any pictures that I haven't shown before, any merch items, any collectibles that haven't appeared, they will show up in the video right now.
You and me, just a walk in the park where the world fades, and we're leaving our marks. They try to hold me down, tear me apart, but with you, baby, nothing seems so hard. They said I'd never make it, that I lost my spark, but you lost my compass, guiding me through the dark. Stumble and trip, yeah, I made a mess, but with you, every day's like this. Every step we take, we're turning the page. With you, I'm out of my cage.
All right, that is the video. Thanks everybody for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. Definitely leave me a comment and let me know down below. Is there any merch item that you know of? Anything that's rare? Anything that's hard to find? Maybe something you have pictures of? Maybe something from your own collection that you want to share that I could include in a later video? I love creating these and documenting as much Golden Girl merchandise and material as possible. So if there's anything you want to share that you think I don't have, contact me on Facebook, contact me on Instagram. Leave me a comment down below to let me know what it is you've got. While you are down there, don't forget to give me that thumbs up to tell me that you appreciated this. Or if you are Dragon Queen and part of the Forces of Darkness and you just don't want me to be happy in my Golden Girl collection, then go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It is all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, become part of the fam, and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified every time I do an upload. I try really hard to make sure I have at least one video or live per week. And if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, ograrific. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. Long live Golden Girl. I am such a fan. Before we go, I want to show you a quick little thing for those of you who stayed all the way to the end. This is the physical letter that I got when I ordered the Palace of Gems. So if you've seen my Palace of Gems video, I did show the online version, but I don't think I showed the physical copy of the letter. This letter came from David Galoob, and this was offered as part of the auction because it did come from his personal collection. And so I'm going to try to cover up my address here, but and his address at the bottom. But this is actually a letter that came from David Galoob. I was very excited to receive this. And this is the physical copy. So this was so cool. That Palace of Gems was such a bucket list item. So, but that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. And until I see you again, bye.
Gonna get neurotic person.
I'll include I'll include any additional pictures, and I'll include any links in the description. Oh, excuse me. Let me take a drink.
Soda?
So if I buy a used doll and it's got ready. Now in the previous video, we also talked about.
Girl, you know I'll put that puzzle.
I know, that was another thing where I was like,
Fuck yeah.
I know Angie likes a good puzzle.
Fuck yeah.
I'll give you those.
Yep.
Masks with the elastic strip that would always break and.
What the fuck? Yeah.
And then there was usually like just some sort of, what is that called? Not a poncho. Smock?
Smock.
Smock.
Yes, a smock. You just imagine the ones that had been worn. Any move, they would have broken that.
Yeah.
suit. Any move. Look at this.
Look at that. Look what I can do.
I'm 47. 47 years old.
And these are just little plastic photo frames.
Sorry, I was trying to get your attention. Sorry.
What was the thing with the wheels? The little white wheels that had the film cells and you did the... Do you remember what that's called?
I have it in my brain, and it is a... Oh my god, what is it? Wheel Viewer Viewmaster.
Viewmaster, okay.
Wheel View Viewmaster.
It will appear now. And if not, I'm just sitting here for an awkwardly long time. And if there's nothing, again, we're just here for an awkwardly long time.
We said forever, forever means nothing if we don't give it all we got. We can cry when it's over.